today we're going to do a reading. It's going to be a soul whisper, something that somebody who isn't here, or perhaps somebody who would like to guide you, or does guide you, or some ancestor or relative that has got your back. What would they be saying to you to make sure you're on the right track? You've got three choices. First one is mistletoe. The second one is candle magic, and the third one is cold moon. So if you want to take your choice, and we'll just see what comes out.
La música de Harry Frog.
Okay, pile number one. I'm just going to start talking here to tell you what I'm thinking. It may change. There's a feeling here of maybe as a child you were somebody that just got on with life, that you were the one where, perhaps you had difficult brothers or sisters, or you saw people in school that were difficult and you were just quiet and kept yourself out of it and kept moving. There's a feeling here that you've got a very romantic nature as well, because you've got here the Libra card with the Justice card in the centre with the little pigeon dove things, and the Page of Cups and the Nine of Cups. It feels like you have a very soft internal world. You've got mistletoe and the sort of muse of history. That's me translating French there. I don't know what it actually means, but I'm assuming that's exactly what it is. To me, that has got a sort of Six of Cups feeling of somebody who is nostalgic, who is sentimental, who falls in love quite easily, but your general outer core, or that's no such thing as that, your general outer layer is different from your inner core. I feel that people may judge you as being quite brusque or quite straight or not the least bit emotional, because you've got that slap between two cards that are quite masculine, and they're very forward-thinking cards, very sort of Aquarian, Mercury type feeling of people that like to think, almost a scientific bend here. And that did actually remind me of Tesla. I've put a link in the chat on Patreon of a gymnast who looks very much like him, and it fascinated me for some reason. Looking up his chart, he was referred to as the ice cold fox. He was Aquarius Sun Moon with Venus in Aries conjunct Uranus. So if you do astrology, that is quite a rebellious, retracted feel about it, but or somebody who's a thinker, somebody who thinks wants humanity to move forward and is more push for it in some way. The leader of his chart is Saturn, so this is somebody who is prepared to work hard for their values and their principles. Anyway, if you're on Patreon, watch the link that I've given you the lead to in the chats, because to me it's really interesting. It's a bit rebellious, but I like the story. But there is a feeling here of that. It's like somebody who does the best thing possible they can do for other people, or for other people's issues, or for the world, or in work, and somebody who's got very soft heart inside, but doesn't allow their outer nature, doesn't allow their inner nature to be seen, because the outer nature is ice cold fox. We've got these two cards here. You're very much somebody who is possibly somebody whose mind whirs a lot, and you're always preempting what's coming next. Possibly that's why you like astrology and tarot, because it gives you some sort of smoothing out, less anxiety to try and think that you can move around the future. You've got cards here with the Three of Swords and the Seven of Swords here. They're difficult cards underneath this sort of Uranian card, which is why I kept saying about the ice cold fox. I love that. That maybe this may be something that has served you up until a certain point, but may not be anymore. That need to always be straight, think ahead, be either practical or very bright with regards to your decisions to make sure that you don't get tripped up. The Magician card here as well, you've got here somebody who tries and organises what they want to push out into the world, and they're very skillful at that. You know, it's just a bit of an inner anxiety in this I can feel here. It's like, if I can order everything okay, everything in the world around me, everybody will love me, and my life will be gorgeous. But there's a real feeling in this, because of the disparity, is that a word, between the softness and the coolness here, and the romantic feel up here, that you probably shift your inner beauty onto others very easily and have great crushy energy, maybe. There may be that in here. But the strength is this to me, like, finished doing that, finished being that. It's changing your perspective of yourself and probably weaving both of them together with the strength card here. It's okay to let yourself, to reveal yourself, to reveal your inner core, however soft, to talk from your heart, to express yourself without feeling that somebody's going to laugh at you, because maybe you're not at home in your emotions. Maybe if you are an ice cold fox, whatever it is, silver fox, I don't know. But it may have been good for you in the past because you've got what I guess is an inner strength, that you know how to deal with situations. But this, to me, the centre pile is like marshmallow. It's all like somebody who just loses himself in life, who dances and who doesn't care that anybody's watching, who sings and may have an awful voice, who cries at TV. And these cards here are somebody that, no, I must organise, I must structure, everything must be okay, and I'll make sure that everything's counted, and then I can relax. So I don't know if there is some form of, with that Uranian feel, trying to always think ahead. Are you the one that plans the holiday and maybe over-plans it? Or are you the one that has to look after siblings or colleagues to make sure that and you take it to heart when things don't go right, as if, oh, that was my fault? Okay, then you've got here the Wheel of Fortune at the bottom. Okay. The Wheel of Fortune is normally a card of good luck, but also the king sits on the top of the Wheel of Fortune, the old cards, and very often gets shoved off by Fortuna herself. And basically what that means is that nobody escapes fate, escapes karma, regardless of how fantastic we think we are. Nobody escapes it. The king falls off in the end. And you've got here the Page of Cups. So what would that mean? Page of Cups twice. Openness, innocence, childlike. Okay, this is what I've got. Your soul message, your soul whisper is what you've done with your personality and the energy that flows through you up until now has shaped who you are. If you carry on, if you do suffer from anxiety, or you suffer from a feeling of having to help people or to be responsible for everybody, to cover everybody's backs in some way, what's going to happen with the Wheel of Fortune and the King is you're going to end up in the Tower card, where basically you get shoved off what you feel like you're on a good roll. What you need to do is to express, to soften, to be more childlike, to be more open, to be less expectant, to worry less, and to play more with these two cards here, the Page of Cups twice, and the centre being very Venusian, very much emotional, very beautiful. It's to enjoy yourself more, to be very in the moment, and then that's a really easy thing to say, but incredibly difficult to do. You can, we say these things, you read them in books, you think, all right, I do that, I can understand that, and we do it for a day, or 2 days. But this is very much just let go, just relax, just play. What's happened up until now has been your personality. The responsibilities that you've taken on, or your ability to keep a straight face when, the shit's hit the fan, and to say, okay, don't worry, I can organise it. You don't need that anymore. That has been part of you. But if you carry on with what you get, I guess, is a built-up persona around you, you're going to be the one that falls off the top of the wheel. You've got to let go of that. It's that need to succeed, that need to order your life, that need to try and guess what's coming next so that you're organised. And it's just to, it's like a Pisces North Node, it's to let go and let flow here. And so that to me would be your message. Let me just put another couple on here. To me, if you, this is going to sound a bit, I don't know if counterintuitive is the words, but if you don't, if you don't fail, what you're going to get is more responsibility, more chance to balls up a bit more. And I don't mean that literally, more chance to be more, go in a direction that you may not really, if you were hypnotised, want to be in. So if there is a chance that you're going to get more responsibility, to start something fresh, that you're questioning, do I do it? The answer in this is probably, maybe not. Maybe not. It's one of those, like, you know, we've got the wheel here. You can go around in circles all the time, and it's the journey. And we all think that if we were this, everything would be fine. If we had this, if we had a little bit more money, or if this person loved us. And this is saying, like, just be. Let me see if I can get some more out of this. This could have a lot to do with relationships as well. It could be both, it could be either. You've got the King of Pentacles here and feeling shut out. This may be that you may feel unlovable if this certain person, this may be something that you're fixated on at the moment, if this certain person isn't in your life and you may feel shut out from them. And this again is sort of saying, you're absolutely perfect as you are, but you need to basically turn yourself inside out. Show everybody what's inside rather than this proficient act on the outside. But no, everything's fine. Don't worry about me. No, you go out with that person. No, you go. Well, no, actually, I'm really attracted to you. And when you're not talking to me, I feel left out. You know, it's that type of thing. And just like whatever the answer is, you don't care because you've expressed yourself. It's not like, well, I couldn't say that in case they thought I wasn't, you know, they weren't attracted to me. But you're attracted to them possibly with these cards here. So just say it. And you don't have to do it in a way as in like, I want this or I want that, but more in a way of, well, this is me, this is how I feel, this is the jelly inside me, and this is what it tastes like. I made that up. But, you know, equally, it could be responsibility in work, it could also be a relationship, it could be both, or it could be one. Where do you want to end up? The Moon card and the Page of Cups, very watery, very sort of, you want to end up where you can't guess where you're meant to be next. Again, it's that allowing. It's that not organising. I did a newsletter, I think it was about a year ago, and it was the name of it was, I can't remember, it was like the glee of failing or something like that. You know, it was something like that when you try too hard to organise everything, and this is what this power feels like. It's like, just be, just allow a little bit of mess, a little bit of, just call it creativity. Allow yourself not to know what's going to happen next, and don't worry about other people, don't worry about being in this relationship, you know, don't worry about whatever you've got in work going on, unless it's something that makes you excited or makes you feel like you're, I could say showing off then, but like a child is like, oh my gosh, this is going to be fun. It's like, well, don't take it just for the sake of it, because you're feeding yourself porky pies. Lies. So that, to me, is your soul whisper. It sounded like a bit of a soul telling off to me. I'm really sorry. I'm going to whisper it to you before I go. Hello. What this is saying, I can't whisper. What this is saying is, just be. Let everybody see who you are. Reveal yourself honestly, openly, and what I guess is in a very sort of emotional way to people. Allow people to see that you do function emotionally, because I feel that you cover that up, and you may have learnt that depending on what happened when you were younger, or just your basic personality may run a little bit cool at times, but not totally. There's a feeling here that if you don't start relaxing and allowing and enjoying and playing a bit more, that you may end up in a situation that feels more difficult to get out of. So don't say yes to things unless they make you feel excited in some way. And this is like, don't know who you are and what you've got to give somebody else, rather than thinking that you need to please people. If you feel shut out of a situation, realise that, I'd say that's your loss type of thing here, because you've got here a real softness inside, but it's that this person may not have chance, if you haven't got that close to them, may not have had chance to see that. And you may be one of those people that say to yourself, if only I could help them. Maybe one of those people who fantasize, if only they knew the real me, then they'd fall in love. People with water in, Cancer, Capricorn as well, sometimes, especially like Saturn conjunct moons or Venuses, tend to feel that they're not good enough, but only if they knew the real me, I could provide, I could give, I could love, and then they would say, well, this person just needs to see you, not the what ifs and what I can give. It's just you. And allow there to be a little bit, I'm going to say chaos is a strong word, but a little bit of mishaps and uncomfortableness and a little bit of sloppiness in your life is what more for sloppiness. I'm going to leave that there, but that's what I've got. But I do hope that helps. Thank you very much. Bye. Okay. This has got an unusual feel to it, which I'm not quite sure about, to be honest. I'll tell you what I've got, and I can tell you my initial thoughts, but things change as I read. You've got Candle Magic at the top card, and then you've got the Guardian of Time next to it. I'm so impressed I can read French. I just guessed it. Just magic. And then you've got the High Priestess here. So I'm looking at the High Priestess thinking, well, the High Priestess out of all the cards is probably the one that doesn't watch time. It's very intuitive. There's no boundaries. It's just like everything is basically a soup. It's like you can access the past or the future and understand it with the High Priestess there. So to me, this could be something to do with intuition and you almost sensing something already. And then you've got here the two tens, the 10 of wands and the 10 of discs as you move forward. So to me, the tens are endings when something new starts. So what I'm thinking so far is that timing is something that is important that you may not be aware of yet with this card here, but something is going to end. What I'm looking at here, this isn't scary, as it may sound it as I'm about to say these next few sentences, but I don't feel that it is. There's no horrible cards in here really. This has got a feeling of like family, and you've got children here. So to me, it's like the Page of Pentacles again. You've got the Page of Wands, the Page of Pentacles, and there was another one as well. Oh, just this one, isn't it, with the kids in it already. It's a feeling of change to do with children. So my thoughts here are, is there a family member that's moving, or are there children in your life that are going through transition that you know, whether it's nephews, nieces, because this is like younger children, as in like under like 15. And lots of different thoughts come into my head here. You've got the Hermit card here, and the Death card here, which this child is going through change. So this isn't really, I don't feel this is about you. I feel this is about somebody in the family. And it's like you thinking that everything's going to be okay, or not really noticing here with this like security. The Magician card, maybe you can help them. And there's like a feeling of maybe this child talks, I don't know. I'm going to go down this track because it's very specific, but it may help somebody. This is what I'm thinking here. I'm looking at these cards. It's like, this is like a story that I've got that happened to somebody else. I know a woman whose niece is anorexic, and for some reason she she, doesn't really talk to mum that much, but the friend that I know who's her auntie is very much, if you can, she tries to guide her through and tries to help her through a difficult situation, because you've got here the hermit where this child's turned in on themselves. You find people with anorexia have got very strong charts. It's like they're very fixed charts. Once they've made their mind up, they don't change it. I'm not saying my friend is particularly, she doesn't go in and bulldoze in, but she gives options. I think one of the options was, if you're feeling healthy enough, perhaps we can go to Thailand in the summer, that type of thing. Just small positive things rather than mum who's in tears. There's something here where I feel that time is of an issue, and I feel that you think that everything's okay. There's some situation in your life, but with a child or somebody younger than you, where you think that everything is okay, but this child is probably in a period of change. You've got the Death card here and the Ten of Wands twice, and they're holding on to something, or perhaps it's like, it doesn't have to be anorexia, that was just an example. It may have to do with studying or movement to do with studying. It's like you with the Queen of Cups here, they need your advice, or they need you to help them in some way. It's like maybe this child looks at you and just like a sentence, or a gift, or just an ear to listen to them. Because the Hermit card with the Moon card is like they're looking for somebody to talk to. I don't know if this makes sense to anybody. It's like a child needing guidance or help or comfort or advice. It doesn't have to be as negative as the anorexic scenario, which would be very, very difficult. It could be just with the Page of Pentacles here. Financial, saving up for something, or it could just something that the child struggles with on their own. That the security here is like this child is looking for guidance, looking for somebody to help them, somebody to open up in a very sort of easygoing way, because their life is changing and they need some support. The Queen of Cups here, the Ten of Pentacles here being a family card here, and the Magician card is, maybe it's a skill, maybe you are a counsellor, maybe you're good with advice, and this may literally be somebody, doesn't have to be in your family, it could be somebody that comes to you if you're a therapist, or if people naturally gravitate towards you for sound information, sound knowledge, that type of thing. It's going to be very important. What you say is going to be very important to them. It's going to stop them almost pulling out of life a little bit and finding things difficult. So keep your ears open, keep your heart open for somebody that comes towards you. And it may seem like a flippant comment. It may actually just be somebody sat opposite you who's paid you. But it's important. It's really important to them. And to do it with the Queen of Cups, and I can imagine you all do this anyway, in a very sort of giving, kind, friendly manner. Not like, do this because this is right. It's more like, okay, let's chat. You open up and I'll help. I'll try to. Oh, yeah, no, I've been in this is like relating through nostalgia and sentiments. It's like, oh, yeah, I know, I understand that. Okay, perhaps I can, do that. I don't know, I'm not a therapist, I'm probably rubbish. And it gives them some clarity, the Hermit card here. It's like they can see that the Hermit's got a lantern. It's like, oh, yeah, I can see that. So what I've got here, your soul whisper is to keep your eye out for somebody that is struggling and comes to you with what may seem like something like, oh, it's not that important, but if you could just help with this, your advice, what you say, what you do is going to make a big deal to the trajectory of this person's life, whether they're young or whether they're just young in their mind or needing a bit of guidance. Because it's like you make the world less muddy with a Moon card there, and you give them a light that they can hold on to, and it would change their path. Important message, but as I said when I started, I don't really know what's going to go on in here, but lots of youth in here. So I'm going to leave that there. Yeah, I'm going to leave you do that good job. That's your soul whisper, which is probably for somebody else, really. So, but you've got the ability to help them through something. I'm going to love you and leave you. Bye. Pile number 3, this one's got me. I don't know, to be honest here. Soul Whisper, I think I said this a little bit in pile number 2, but it came to me here. This is what I've got, and I'll go through it with you. As I go through it, hopefully it'll come to me. You've got here a feeling of release with a cold moon. Release me from, oh my God, I can't read it. Their tongue and nourish me with light, whatever that means. Basically, it's feeling maybe shut out of a situation. I was trying to understand what this means in French. I don't know. Volonté sincere? I don't know. Sincere? I did Google it and it said something like God willing. So to me, this is like a picture in my head at the moment of maybe a difficult time, wondering when it's going to end. And I don't mean really difficult, but a time where you think, okay, when the good bit's going to start. Then you've got a lot of duality in here. So you've got in the centre pile here the Two of Swords and the Temperance card. So that is like, well, you know, which way do I go? Do I act? Don't I act? It's a feeling like being blocked, but there's a feeling of, it's like on the precipice of something. Because this bit is like, it's cold, but you're excited by it. So there may be options and not knowing what to do with it. As I said, I don't know. Because these cards, the Temperance card, the Knight of Cups. Temperance is always a nice card, really. And maybe it's understanding the situation you're in with your foot in the water, which can often be the water, especially in the Aquarian type cards, can be like spiritual information or, you know, a sense of knowing. But your foot in the ground is that you're still carrying on with life, even though you can understand the situation. As I said, I don't know yet. Oh my gosh, the Knight of Cups down here has got something to do with romantic or emotional feelings. But why have you got the King of Wands and the Queen of Wands slapped between this feeling? This to me, when I'm looking at it initially, I'm thinking this must be a relationship. Is the relationship with yourself? You know, do you have the male and female? You know, is there inside? Well, this sounds rude, but the masculine and the feminine parts of yourself, are they integrated? Don't know. Or is this literally, which it feels more so to me, literally like somebody who you may have an eye on, where you're happy, you're content, you know, this person's nice, but you're in a situation where you feel like you're slightly shut out of the next step. And you see yourself as, you know, probably both of you as being each other's half in some way, reflected in each other because of the duality. And I get it, you may be leaving this up to chance, saying, well, whatever will be, which is not what that means in French, but that's my translation of it. And hence why the bit about release me from your cold tongue and let me into the light. It's like you feel shut out, but you're like, you've accepted it. You've accepted a situation, even though you've got romantic feelings for somebody because you see yourself in that person. Maybe. Let's keep going. Then I will turn it into a whisper rather than me just guessing. The Hermit card down here. You share yourself with this person, but you still... oh my gosh, there's a feeling in this. Like you almost feel that... And I can't explain this either. There's a feeling here that you almost think that by being near this person, just by seeing this person, and there could be something in this, just by allowing you to understand that reflection of yourself in that person, is almost like there's growth in that. You may not have to move your other foot onto the earth and make a movement with it in real life. But you have got the Ace of Wands down here. So, you know, who knows as yet? As I said, I don't know. So this to me is like, do I move, don't I move? Wanting to move, but thinking, oh no, well, I'm still learning. You know, I'm getting something from this experience. Don't know yet. I need to put extra cards on that. Here you've got a comfort in these two cards here under the King of Wands. You've got the security of the Six of Cups, that sort of nurturing feeling, that sort of sentimental feeling where you feel content where you are. And the Four of Wands almost says exactly the same, to be honest, in a more earthy way. There's a feeling of security there. Why would you have the World card at the end, which is almost like an ending of a situation, or with this sort of like spiritual feeling in the centre here? There could almost be the world card is an unusual one, isn't it, to be honest? You've got like the Wheel of Fortune in the middle and you've got the world at the end. And the Wheel of Fortune is recognising your karma and fate and understanding the bigger picture. And that's basically a journey that we're all on. And when we begin to understand that, you know, everything is cycles and that you may not remember what you put in, but it's still coming back at you. The world card is then you can step through that other sort of circular card and restart it again, but through experience, the earth, and spiritual understanding. So what does that mean? At the moment, I feel that you are not acting the Two of Swords in what you... I'm not saying this is wrong, I'm just trying to interpret the cards in a situation where you feel like there's growth going on from just being, just understanding, just watching, just feeling, understanding what I guess is attraction with these two cards here, finding your other half. What is the message in this then? You're sharing yourself, but not your whole self. And the Ace of Wands here, but this can't be the message because it's got to move this way. Is that action orientated? Hold on, bear with me. I'm still a searching. My Lord. Well, if you're sitting on the fence with regards to whether you should express yourself physically with this person, this is sort of suggesting that is not a bad idea. I don't often give out advice, and please don't take that as advice, but I'm just telling you what the Lovers and the Ace of Wands mean to me when it's talking about keeping yourself to yourself or sharing yourself, and then you get the Ace of Wands and the Lovers. Oh my gosh, don't let your children watch this. Bad advice, Lindsay. Right, so let's see where this will move. Why the World card at the end, apart from perhaps understanding that action and knowledge is important. What is the karma in this then, if this has got something to do with understanding? Oh, I don't know, that's the wrong question. Let me see. Oh my gosh, it's the same thing over and over again. Okay, what you're getting here is a message of experience and understand equally. Hence the earth, hence the water, hence the high priestess, hence the sex over here. It's like the outcome doesn't really matter. Your stability in yourself, your ability to not need anything from somebody else, your ability to see yourself in somebody else reflected, to experience the attraction and the everyday reality of it, to, if you fancy being physical with this person, then this is like, if this isn't your advice, just ignore it. If you're really young, switch it off. Just be yourself. If you've got romantic intentions, let them go forward with it here. But the lesson here is to see the bigger picture, to understand that your life is a combination of the spiritual underneath that understands the patterns, and also you've got to physically act as well. It's got to be both together. That's going to be part of what I guess is your soul whisper. Now I'm going to whisper a little bit to you. You feel like you can't get in a situation, but to me, I would guess that is your decision to almost sit on the fence a little here. Maybe you enjoy watching, understanding. Possibly if you're looking at tarot, you possibly do enjoy the whole thought process behind it. It's very reflective and it allows you to understand yourself, but there's got to be some action in this as well. It's got to be both, I would guess here. It's like if there was a guide whispering to me and I could hear it over my shoulder, it was like, everything's okay. That person's meant to be in front of you. There is a reason that you're attracted to them, because they're part of your soul group. And you can very much see the vibration of them being very much your own vibration. If you feel physically attracted to them, there's nothing wrong with that. If the coast is clear, there's nothing wrong in being with this person. It's don't choose. I feel like I have to stop because I'm bad advice, but the soul whisper is, you don't have to choose one or the other. You can choose both. You can still understand the lesson and be acting it in real life. that is difficult. I don't know if that makes sense. Let me try a little bit harder, see if I can get something. I feel that you are questioning yourself because I don't think you're getting enough from this person to see whether you're seen or whether this person feels as attracted to you or recognises the connection between the pair of you. So you rely, then you go back with your foot in the water and try and understand the pattern. Perhaps you do look at a lot of tarot readings. Perhaps you do your astrology over and over again, and you're trying to, fit the patterns in with the High Priestess here and with the Temperance card here. And you're wondering whether emotionally you should move away. But there's a feeling of security here and thinking. You enjoy the thought of that person. Why the physical cards down here? Because you need to learn how to act too. You need, that's part of your lesson is not just... To me, it feels like you're one of those people that are very intuitive and you can smell situations before they arrive and you can see who you're attracted to before, you dream it before you see them, that type of thing. And when they come into your life, you're thinking, well, that's it, it's part of the process. It's a very internal process. But this is saying you're good at that. This person's here for you to develop that, but you've also need to develop the other side here, which is acting too. In the real world, what are you going to do? Are you going to, regardless of what happens in the situation, it's sharing yourself with this person, whether it is, it doesn't have to be that physical, but there is something in being physically close to a person and allowing yourself to open up. Not like that, but you know what I mean? Yeah. Okay. That, to me, is the best I can do with this pile. I hope that helps. It's the in-between other worlds and this one and pulling it together for you. That's your message. That's your whisper. While I'm packing away, I can tell you a little story where I've come across a girl who has had a similar one from a Ouija board. I think it was a Ouija board session. Oh, it was a psychic, and I've said this before. This young lady was New Zealand actually. Me and my brother went to a psychic, and I think my brother was sat next to her the way he relays the story. And basically, the clairvoyant said to her, "You need to have more sex." She said she was just absolutely shocked. But there's both in there. It's like it's okay to be physical if it feels safe for you and you feel as if you can cope with it and that's what you want. And it's also okay to think, to try and understand the pattern behind situations. It doesn't have to be one or the other, but that has to be your decision. What feels right for you. Right, I'm going to leave you there. Please don't take the sexy bit as a go for it. Please just take it as in let me think about that, whether it makes sense to myself. Don't listen to me. I'm going to love you and leave you. Bye.